Everyone. Hi, I'm back with. I'm gonna continue working on Reed's portrait. Turn this one on. I got some drinks here, so I got Vietnamese milk coffee. This is just a herbal mix that they serve for free. And also got guava juice. Here, put some music to it. Please let me know if the sound is okay. You can hear me properly. That's very important. So yeah, other than that, it's all good. This phone died. I'm just wondering if it's needs to be charged, so I can turn it on. Let's try now. All right, it was all along was out of charge. Then I'll be able to turn it on. Well, I'm gonna start slowly anyway, so I'm gonna just drink coffee and that one. I always ask them to make no sugar. I think guava is quite sweet on its own. And in some places, they like adding up a little bit way too much sugar here. The reason why I have all of it, well, coffee is a coffee, of course, caffeine, and guava is rich in potassium, also vitamin A and C. And herbal mix, I guess this is just generally it's water, just with some herbal mix, so it probably has some antioxidant traits, but it's also water, so it's just for hydration as well. Yeah, that's a little bit lame that I cannot get into a chat right now, but I'm gonna fix it. This slide, I actually see very, very well some gaps here between layers, so obviously I'm gonna try to make sure that it's all filled up. But again, it's nowhere near done to work on. But even if I define hairline and all of that, it's still gonna be. I'm gonna have to apply a layer on top. Trying to access the phone. Okay, looks like it's turned on. It shows me 0%, but it's linked to the charging block. So yeah, that one I missed. My husband always reminds me to charge things, and yeah, and I always forget. Okay, let's try. Let's try to get to YouTube. No, it turned on. Turned off. Well, let me see if there's a moment. Yeah, I can see folks here. Yeah, good to see you. Sounds okay. Well, thank you for the sound check. Don't let anyone dim your shine. What's your my natural color? It's a light brown or ash light, or sometimes it can get even lighter, but my husband refuses to acknowledge that I'm blonde or anything. But I'm not blonde, of course, but they're different shades of. So in Slavic, countries, actually, my hair color can be. I've been called blondinka, like blonde, but well, in reality, Evan is from Norway. And he has naturally real blonde, like a platinum blonde hair color. So I can understand. Okay, well, it seems now it's a 1% at least. So maybe, just maybe, from this point, it's gonna work. I'm taking like a one sip of each. Well, it's charging gradually. I'm gonna take the chance and try again to access YouTube so I can see the chat. Okay, I can see it now. Here we go. Sounds seems to be okay as well. Okay. I usually drink coffee or something else before, like separately. I go to the coffee shop, just chill there, just help my routine. But today I wanted to start earlier, so I just went to took that stuff for takeaway. And well, the weather is beautiful. It's foggy. It is not raining, but it's like I think it rained a little bit at night. So there's not going to be a sun issue at all at any point. Like with that, this amount of clouds, it's uh, it's very misty right now. So yeah, very nice. It's also not as hot anymore. So yeah, we can really work properly on the. I can work on the portrait. And cool thing is the cloud filtered light is also the best for basically to see everything clearly. Yeah, I usually catch you at the boxing ring. Yeah, that's well, it's been mostly boxing. Painting has been recent. I started live streaming and painting. Literally, this is my first piece, and this is second. So it's probably 2 3 weeks ago. That's when I did first time. Good job with the painting. Thank you. Appreciate it. Gradually coming along. It looks cool from the distance, but if you can go closer, you can see a lot of gaps. So it's gonna take more layers to really work meticulously. But it's like a carving process, you know. You make it more detailed, more uh, better definition. You apply shadows, texture, you know, correct strokes, and then I'm gonna get back to it again, and I'm gonna start. I'm probably not even gonna continue here at this point. I just want to see the end product on the facial area. Once I see that, I can use that as the blueprint to everything else, and gradually continue because the body, yeah, body needs quite a lot of work, and well, it might take some time actually, but I don't mind that. You're doing very good for just talking. I mean, obviously, I haven't started painting just now, but it's my first experience on painting and live streaming. Also, it's the first time when I painted, I used oil paints for black and white only. I never did anything like that. I had some periods when I created, and it was actually long ago when I was basically a teenager. Um, don't mean to be arrogant, but I was called prodigy when it comes to painting and art. So that was one year when it was first time we started oil paints and portraits. And this is where I'm like, wow, that's for me. Before we would paint nature, and I have some pieces back at home, and those are okay, but that's not really what brings my like real emotion. Um, what I feel, how I see my vision, and through portraits. And I started painting quite the dark portraits. Like there was, we would have references. Obviously, we would use. I was always pick those darker, tamed, but very expressive references. And yeah, that's how I would paint. If I found I don't have the pieces, there was this charity thing for one of our friends who had the brain cancer, and I actually sold all of my paintings there. So someone back in Georgia owns that, some of those. Also, they haven't been done in canvas; they've been done in paper with oil paints. The point is, I have an experience with colors, and even though I like dark background and all that kind of stuff. However, like really doing black and white like this and making it that expressive, um, that is the first time. But I think it's going well. I'm planning to introduce some colors too, not to these two portraits, but next one I'm thinking to do that. You're talented boxer and of painting and all. Thank you. Hey, can you please tell me about your arm tattoo? It looks cool. The arm tattoo was like a signature tattoo. I have two tattoos. They're prominent. One is, if you see my cuff, it's Georgian theme tattoo, and this one, the dragon tattoo. It's basically, I actually really wanted to cover this one side, and I was thinking what I had different sketches. And then essentially, I gave up and asked my tattoo artist friend to just sketch it for me, and he did it brilliantly. He really saw like I gave him a freedom. I just told him he has to have a dragon. I was born in the year of dragon. Some maybe a woman, some just a warrior theme, and he took an assignment. And then he's like, "Oh, here's a sketch." And I was like, "I never really seen anything like that as a tattoo. That's awesome." So he used like a Japanese stylized. It's not Japanese cultural tattoo, but it's like a stylized and the lines. If you can see, it's like they would paint on canvas, and the tail. A lot of people sometimes freak out. They think it's a wound, so it's cool curve katana. Anyways, love this tattoo. It's my favorite one. Okay. Wow, those are amazing. Hi, Mike. Good to see you. How are you doing? I came here for the box and found the painting. Didn't know I was doomed to fall in love. Uh, aren't we all like? I can understand. I get fascinated by multi-directional people. It just happened to be that I am quite multi-directional, at least in sports and arts, and music, those kind of things. So just take some curiosity. Oh, buenos noches. Hello. Anyways, I'm gonna drink coffee. I'm gonna finish up. In the meantime, you can ask me anything you want. I'll try to respond. So after I finish drinking coffee and juices, I mean guava juice. This one I'm gonna keep for hydration, so I'm just gonna drink along the way. But yeah, after I finish my coffee, mainly, I'll start painting gradually. The only thing is, I think I forgot the reference. Oh, yes, I did forget the reference picture, and I'm wondering where is it. Baby, if you can hear me, I'm addressing my husband. If you can see, it's. Oh, I also forgot the paint plate, where I have the black and white. It's on the top of the wardrobe. That's where I put it. But I'm trying to remember where is the references now. I cannot. I think it's somewhere on the shelf. So it's basically in the plastic file. There's two papers inside. And what country is that early in the morning? Well, it's already 11:20. It's just quite foggy today, so it feels earlier. And it's Vietnam. Vietnam and Tron. You're so multi-faced. Truly an amazing human. Thank you. That's why I found out. As I said, I mean, I can understand you when that. For example, one of my favorite current fighters is Alex Volkanovski, is because I fell in love with him more after finding out that he has a cooking channel and he sings and he like acts and he has like that artistic side of his, and he's like a sweet guy. That's what I'm saying. Aren't we all loving people like that? Just 1 second. Any prediction of the White House? I kind of stopped following on that one because it kind of goes. I'll watch it when it happens, but it's kind of going to the absurdity a little bit. I hope they'll make a good event out of it, but it's getting a little bit tricky now. So um, all I know it's supposed to happen in summer. I love Vietnamese food. Vietnamese food, great. I love it too, and it's simple and it's cheap. Why don't you to paint with colorful? That's a good question. Yeah, definitely. Why not? Absolutely. One of the reasons why I decided to do black and white with the oil paints. Oil paints are very specific paints. They're like a little bit messy. You got to know how to work with them. So I didn't want to risk, especially doing it live, like first time straight away live. I didn't want it to risk to kind of get ruined because I haven't done paintings in the with the oil for many years, like really for many years. So I was like, okay, let me just do something that I'm comfortable with. I'm very comfortable with black and white, just graphic effect. So I was like, okay, let me try that and just get used to the texture and blending in all that kind of stuff. Yeah, the only difference with colors is that then you have few colors or maybe more colors. Depends on the sophistication of the color palette of the piece, right? In some next painting will be, let's say it's going to be like a brown base layer because on the brown the skin tones and skin colors, cold and warm colors are laying well, like let's say blue, violet, and then you have orange, red, brown, green, yellow, and some greens there. So all of a sudden, I make a piece where you can see color and real skin color, but it's also going to be few colors. So it's like a next step of the practice. I mean, I know how to paint or draw portraits. I see that. I see what needs to be done to get there to that effect. I was telling my husband I kind of developing same approach to boxing, and I like it. But the point is, but it takes structure, right? Like in a boxing, if I let's say um, if I do want to learn shifts, cutting distance shifts, then throwing punches, well, I need to build it up gradually, right? If I just hop on it, I'm probably gonna ruin the quality of that work. Same with the paintings. Hello, how are you? I'm doing well. Paint any UFC fighter. I will at some point. When it comes to the UFC fighters, unless I like really want to just do by myself, especially also print's going to be available for sale, so that's one of the things we're building up about my around my art. So originals and the prints limited edition going to be for sale. So at some point, yeah, I'll do the UFC fighters too. But for example, I'm painting Paul Reed now. He's an MMA fighter. He wasn't at UFC, but he's quite respected and well known in MMA world, because he's one of the reasons is he started his career late in his life, and then he finished late. He started like mid 30s, and then closed his career when he was 15. He has quite a good, strong portfolio. Very interesting fighter, very interesting persona, and now very inspiring. Well, I had the luck to. He actually talked to me like when I commented one of his videos. First time I saw his social media, I was like, "Oh, that's Paul Reed. You're inspirational." He actually followed me back, and well, not all um, folks do that, right? So and that's understandable. You know, you can't just reach out to everyone, but for some reason he messaged me. He followed me back, and we would just comment on videos and respond to stories, and then essentially I just thought, okay, I want to paint you. Would you mind? And he says, no, absolutely. So I offer that collaboration. So this is it's not just me painting it and it's going to be stored. No, it's going to go directly. The original painting going to go directly to Paul Reed, and that is very rewarding. So yeah, guys, if you know any, it doesn't matter if it's like some inspiring MMA folks or even someone from the UFC, because well, people happen. Some people live next to them or train in the same gym. Well, you can show them my content, and I can do that. I don't mind painting someone who is do that kind of collaboration where I create a piece. And there are a lot of artists who do that. There are quite few in MMA niche. There are like a couple people who are very good like they paint MMA dynamic. There is even one guy who does it in black and white. I forgot his name, but he does it very well. Um, but yeah, here I am. Like I'm open for collaborations here. Okay, what do we have? Do you sell your work? How you price it? I'm gonna keep answers shorter now. So first, the prints are gonna be so in our online shop, which is directly a click away from the YouTube channel when it's gonna be launched. You're gonna be able to buy whatever is gonna be there, including the high quality Canva prints in original size of this painting. So this painting is called First Blood, and this is gonna be available. I think it's gonna be 30 prints, like limited edition, and obviously it's gonna be a fraction of the original price. This one, again, we probably gonna auction it, and that is also another story. So first prints gonna be available for sale. Once the prints are sold out, then we're gonna launch the auction through there are ways like eBay, maybe even from the fourth wall YouTube shop. We'll find a way which is the best. And why auction? Because it's a painting, right? And it's an art, and this is the kind of art I create. I put my like pieces of my like soul, my vision. So yeah, for some people, um, as much as some people don't really care about art, there are people who wants that original painting. They see, they feel certain emotion that I put in there. So it makes sense to have some base price for it, and then there's the possibility to do the bidding. Oh, Sergio Hernandez, do you date non-fighters? I don't date. I'm married. I'm married. But well, Good tip, and that's why I always say, if you super chat, if you do super chat donation, at least ask the question, because it pops up and I can see it. Okay, who do you think is the hottest female UFC fighter? Um, I would go for Rose Namajunas. I mean, right now maybe she's like, in her, but I think she's the prettiest at least. Like, at some point, Rose was like a model, looking very feminine and a killer as well. I thought that was Socrates on steroids. Yes. Well, Paul Reed really looks like the Greco-Roman sculpture. He really does. You can check out his Instagram too. Both my Instagram and his Instagram is in this. Um, uh, oh, okay. How about time dates versus Shakur Stevenson this much? I didn't happen to watch this one. That's the one I need to look at actually. But as you see, I've been a little bit busy with art too, and just sometimes I'll lock myself out from events and outside the world, and I just do my thing. So that's kind of the period I have right now. Hi, good morning. Story is amazing. Thank you very much. 39 likes, so it's already more. How do you determine the price? As I said, I don't know. Not yet. We're gonna research more about it. Obviously, we're gonna make it that it makes sense. How other the structure for the any other art to be sold, right? So we're gonna probably use the most common, the most um, trusted structure for it. But we never did it. Like, when I say we, me and my husband, he's heavily sitting. He's setting up a lot of things, so he's helping me so much on the organizing the website and basically the process of selling. Right now, we know that first blood, we're gonna do limited edition prints. So you will see that soon. My shoe size, almost a Cinderella. I wear 35, 36. Here in Vietnam, even, yeah, 35, easy. Did you paint those pictures? Yes, I did. That rose is beautiful. Good choice. Yeah, no, she's very pretty. I think what makes her prettier also is that I don't think she ever focused on her beauty. Like, she could, there, like, Paige Van Zandt was very cute, but now she's like doing OnlyFans, and my attitude towards it is not positive. I think it's just women completely erasing their value for money. It's so, and Rose is like the opposite of it. I don't think she ever focused on her looks. So I think that's good. You would be the most beautiful fighter in the UFC. Well, I'm gonna do boxing, so maybe maybe you can rate me there. But again, same as Rose. One of the reasons I like Rose, her stoic attitude. The way how she beat up some legends in her weight class, and they were like, um, same for me. I mean, I like to adapting that attitude myself, and I mean, my husband likes me, right? Yoga guys, some of the like looks help. I don't say that looks don't matter. Looks do help, and I always encourage people to try to enhance yourself in a natural way as much as possible. Good sleep, good diet, get fit, uh, find a, get a good haircut that suits your facial structure. I'm telling you, as an artist, right? For women, like very minimal but very like right makeup, or like eyebrow shape, like that kind of stuff. Obviously braces. I had messed up teeth, and since I took off my braces, like I'm smiling wide open. Even my facial structure changed slightly. um, so those kind of things, because that's gonna help you. They're gonna help you just be uh, more approachable, more likable. But then everything on top is what you say, how you behave, how you make others feel around you, what you do, your interests, like what you're striving for, etc. So, how quickly can you do it from the spread? Well, this takes hours, of course, layer after layer, also because it's oil paint. But sketching, of course, I can do like quick sketches. I've done that before. You're beautiful and your husband is so handsome. Well, that's not my husband, but my husband is very handsome. That's true. Good painting. Thank you very much. Very strong legs. I do have strong legs. Face is 2-3. This wonder personality matters the most. You're correct. I agree. Someone was saying about the looks, and yeah, people focus on looks, but the truth is that looks fade, and sometimes time runs so fast that I think younger people need to start realizing that earlier, at their prime, actually. Because when you're blinded by attention and popularity and all kinds of stuff when you're young, you neglect so many other things like self-development, education, um, learning how to build relationships with people, acquiring wisdom. Wisdom doesn't have an age. It just takes, to look beyond that facade and start asking right questions. Always keep learning, always keep growing, and I do believe if the young people like me, I'm 25. I'm not really old at this point. I'm not old. I think so. Yeah, I think we need to talk more about it. So young people focus more on their talents, the things they're good at, the things that they not only good for them, but whenever they do it, they create the effect. They influence others in a positive way as well. And yeah, try to acquire wisdom, control. Stoicism. If you look at my paintings, if you're familiar with the word stoicism, I think it will. This is one word that's probably gonna match a lot of my paintings. So a lot of my paintings gonna be that vibe: stoicism, resilience, quiet confidence, mindfulness, wisdom. Those words. How fast can you do a painting look like this? I imagine an artist need you to be quick. I mean, for the quality's sake, it takes a little bit of time. I'm a fast artist. I paint fast. I don't really sit on things forever, and I try to find the fastest way around, whether it's a layer or a stage. However, I also challenge myself into the accuracy. So this one, I could leave it like this, or obviously finish the next layer and kind of leave it like this, but I can see that it's not done. It's not where I want it to be. Well, and Paul Reed is obviously that's a gift, and he's like, he absolutely he follows on the process and he sees the progress. He loves it already, which is just warms my heart. And yeah, whatever time it's gonna take. Other than that, obviously, this size of consistent work, if that will be a commission or something, let's take a month safely, like a safely a month where I can work, let's say, every morning from the morning till mid afternoon. So 3, 4, sometimes even 5 hours. And in that case, with some days of, let's say, letting the layer dry out, I think months will do for this size of camera. And one figure, like if it's a one person portrait, that's way faster. Once you have two figures, already becomes different. The major part how you treat people, some people overlook other people in the is the personality. Oh, I agree, Andrew. A lot of people get deceived by, well, a lot of us get deceived at times. So it's the facade and appearance, but um, people's lives can get ruined by choosing wrong relationships, starting with choosing the wrong partner. And that's what I think a lot of men make that mistake, especially high value men. who have access. They have money. If they on top of that, if they also have looks and everything, they have a lot of choice, right? But they also can surround themselves with those like women who are at the higher scale of their looks and appearance, almost captivating and inspiring, for the art. But the reality is that very few women of that appearance, of that caliber, have a personality or have their own aspiration or certain talents they pursue or ability to build up relationships because they also been handed things all their lives. So it's a very interesting paradox. And then, you know, the worst happens, instability, the chaos in the relationships. It's quite an interesting paradox. Health is looks and it doesn't fade. 29. If you truly love nature, you will find beauty everywhere. I agree. Would you sell it if you feel it's still incomplete? Probably not. Well, there is a very interesting point for an artist and some artists struggle to paint their paint, paint or canva or painting, whatever they create, because they are like they want to make it perfect. Well, the truth is, it's never going to be perfect, unless you're one of those folks who's like hyper realism and stuff. But even those guys, like there's always something, and there's always just the point is once you cover all the layers, once it's smooth and nice, you check it out, like you see that you just need to tell yourself that it's good, it's done. Right now, it's incomplete because there are gaps, and of course, I wouldn't sell it. This one is not for sale, but I wouldn't sell it with those gaps. That would be unprofessional because this painting style, it has to be quite realistic, quite marble-like. Right now, it's not. It's just like one of the layers, right? So in that sense, if it's incomplete, I think that would be unprofessional from my side to try to sell it at that point. However, if there is another, oh Nix, hi, Red has a gift. Oh, you got the memberships and the gift memberships. Thank you, Nick S. Appreciate it. I remember you from the last live stream. I think you did the similar in the last one too. Well, yeah, I'm glad you guys here. Again, thanks to Nick for the memberships one more time. Again, I'll just finish the point. If the layers are incomplete and just technicalities are incomplete, again, I wouldn't do that. If it's all done and let's say I'm like, oh, I saw this and that, not really. Like it's at that point, if everything is clean and nice, just step aside. You look one last time, if there is really anything that you need to adjust or any little spot to add, and that's it. And you just finish with a satisfaction. Fortunately, I have that ability. Like with this painting too. If you look at it, oh, maybe I add here. No, it's good, and it's I used reference quite well. Could it be done a little bit? Yes, but let's just leave it the way it is because it's already good. It gives that character, that light. The layers are all covered. The texture is done. The contrast, the helmet looks good. I like the helmet part, the face. Just leave it. Beautiful woman making beautiful art. Thank you. Slapping Piotr Jan requires a great relaxation. This painting should help. Absolutely. Sorry, guys. Still drinking coffee. I'm just gonna put this down because it's actually has a lot of water coming out of it, so I don't want this spot to be all wet. Also, you know that oils and water don't don't dissolve, right? So it's not the best idea to mix water anyhow with this process. Hello, hello. Vietnamese coffee. In the beginning, that would Vietnamese coffee would literally give me heart palpitations, even just a single one in the morning. And it's like I wouldn't feel good. But I think I got adapted to it, so now it just gives me this wiry feeling. I always try to have it water with it, or coconut, or guava, whatever gives me potassium to get hydrated. But yeah, I think I'm getting getting ready to it. Incredible. Yeah, thank you. I mean, it's getting there. It really does. Happy Tuesday night. It's night that you're from United States. Happy. Oh, in Vietnam, we have it almost midday. Oh, and Bean, I remember you. Hello from Chicago again. Hello, good to see you. Is this AI? No, it's not an AI. It's not an AI. Your next project? Well, still working on the poll read. My husband is in the chat, so Aiden Priest is my husband here, by the way. What do you do for work? That's an interesting question. Believe it or not, my primary source of income and my work that I'm currently occupied with is personal trainings and habit building, personal sessions, basically. I have few long-term clients coming along with me for 5 years. Some of them, a couple of them is for 5 years, and one is 3 years, and then coming and going clients, that um, take my services in the periods. Basically, I do that online mostly since COVID period. I do that online with English speaking folks from mostly United States and Europe. And well, that gave me a freedom when I met my husband back in Georgia. And he also has his income coming remotely. So when we met, I was already doing that, maybe a little bit on smaller scale. So yeah, that's how we ended up traveling and just moving to the country, because the only thing changes is time zones, and that needs to get managed. Other than that, it's no problem. It's very flexible. Now YouTube brings some sort of income. It's not massive, but it's growing, and we're building it up more. Also here in Vietnam, I ended up to become a singer. Started from karaoke hosting. So we just went to Red Buffalo Bar, and we befriended the owners. They're from United States, half Vietnamese. The husband is half Vietnamese, half Cantonese, and lived in the United States most of his time alive. And they just offered, "Oh, you sing well. Why wouldn't you host karaoke?" That worked well. And then I also got offered to sing that casino once a week. So quite a good income for Vietnam I actually make here by those fun side hustles. That some of it I'll even live stream. And basically, yeah, that's again my main job, working with doing personal sessions with people online, then growing the YouTube and doing singing side hustle. That's basically what I do. Okay. Uh, hey, husband, what's up? Chilling. Yeah, we just started the day. Terminator 2 Judgment Day predicted AI. Yes, that's true. I'm Miro. Hello, hello. How's my favorite artist? If you mean, if you're talking about me, that I'm doing all right. That's awesome. Congrats. Thank you. Question to Chris, who's his favorite artist? Sorry, fighter. Well, I hope he responds himself. Video. There is an ancient myth that Peter Yan will be struck by a redhead boy. Oh man, that's cool that you do that for work. Have you thought about opening a school community? It would wrap together your audience from YouTube and your coaching. Well, at some point, why not? YouTube already does it quite well. Oh, it's getting fun. Anyways, YouTube are doing it quite well. So it's first time in my life. I think all of those activities kind of coming along through my platform, my channel on YouTube. And well, from that point, it's just about exploring the opportunities. I always wanted to do a community building with something that is like not involving only one direction. It's involves some art, martial arts, boxing, sports, music, other things. Maybe one day. Picture turned out fire. I think it's raining. I just hope it doesn't rain too hard, so it's not windy. Fortunately, at this point it's not very windy, so it's all covered. Should be fine. Favorite fighter? Well, Chris mentioned boxer. Mike Tyson. Same for me. It's like now Tyson is like a, if not number one, then like a top few, but usually number one for me as well. But I think question was about UFC fighter. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, I gotta read it out loud. Hey Chris, do you ever get irritated by her because she talks too much and explain every topic too much? So sometimes, yes, I do that. Uh, I really do that. Well, he gets amused. He never gets irritated or angry at me. He just mocks me a little bit, like talky 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 talky, and I talk for my work, and I talk on YouTube, and I talk here and there. Yeah, I talk a lot. What can I do? And then sometimes I want to talk to him as well on top of everything. Roy Jones Jr. is like the top few, top five maybe of my favorites too. Have you lived in Georgia your whole life? Yes, up until I met my husband. I was born and raised and lived in Tbilisi for first 22 years. I met Roy Jones Jr. Wow, lucky you. Got an autograph. Good fighter. Yeah, yeah, no, awesome. He was one of the best. I mean, there was Bernard Hopkins beat him. The Calzaghe beat him once. So yeah, there's some interest. Like boxing world is you have some more of the star figures, and there were some of them were spectacular. But it's also same in the UFC right now, and I guess in boxing to that day. It also depends. There's one thing being a boxer or a fighter, and another thing is how your organization or the media promotes you. There are some there were some boxers that were promoted heavily, including Roy Jones Jr., and there were some that people barely remember. And well, I always try to educate myself more and recover some of those materials and watch. Like for example, when I first time watched Calzaghe, I was like, wow, like he's actually undefeated. And yeah, people say, oh, he was from Europe, he was not, but well, he actually beat Jones Jr. And there was another American prodigy, a very good boxer, like, and he just stopped his, I mean, he stopped his winning streak. So it's quite interesting that some of the boxers, like, we really need to look at the boxing history to fight them. What about Ali? Ali, legend. So you have figures like uh, Sugar Ray Robinson and some of the, like, before Sugar Ray, there's like a different age of boxing where it was a lot about survival, making money, and it was a lot of fist fighting. But yeah, I think Robinson won, like Robinson's era really put to a real boxing. Then you have Ali, who was inspired by Sugar Ray Robinson, and then you have like alongside Ali, obviously you have the other heavyweights as well. Then you have not the heavyweights, but some lower class like Four King era. So you have certain figures that are just, yeah, there's those are legends, whether you like them or not. And I like Ali, of course. They're legends. So it's always Ali. Sometimes I don't mention him because that's just like I love Tyson style. I prefer it more. I'm shorter fighter myself. Peekaboo, or at least elements of Peekaboo, I think is like that power and explosivity and speed and that un um, not a standard way of moving. I still would pick that as my favorite style if we choose between styles. Peak Roy Jones Jr. was something else. Definitely agree. But Triple G is amazing for sure. Roy Jones Jr. is also amazing. Lucy Coloma, so many great fighters. I just remember as a kid, Tyson was just amazing. There was no one like him. Yeah, there was a prime Tyson who was just knocking out most of the others flat. Costa Dio was a hard puncher. Yeah, Costa Dio. First time I ever heard about Costa was actually from my father. I think there was a match going on in the screen, and that was even before I would be boxing. So Costa Dio is a name that I know for since childhood. Costa Dio was also, I think he was not Floyd, George Mayweather's generation. I think they even fought. How long have you been sketching, drawing, painting? Yeah, for long, my entire life, I guess. Pac-Man style. Well, Pac-Man's story style is legendary. One of my all-time favorites as well. Joe Calzaghe never lost. That's correct. Marvin Hagler was amazing in his time. Yeah, well, good example of, so out of the four kings, the most all of them were amazing in their own ways. I still think Leonard was the most fluent and like diverse. However, he was also heavily promoted by media. For him, it was like he was a good personality. Was like a second next Ali. Hagler, from the other hand, he was so unpromotable for them. Again, he was not really, but he was a beast. He was Marvin Hagler with his gazelle punches and super, um, like very difficult style to counter. Also very tough. Like he was not uh, easy to deal with. Bernard Hopkins, well, legend in his own right too. One of the reasons is also his longevity in sport. He unified his was it middleweight or light heavyweight? I don't remember, but it was 49 years old, so he became 48, and then he unified between WBC or WBA. Great for smaller fighters. That's true. That's probably a peekaboo. Yeah, Tyson style is a great blueprint for a shorter fighter. Hello, hello. Tattoo is cool. Thank you. Appreciate it. To beat the Zab Judah really badly, it was a good fight. Well, I'm wondering. I think I have not seen that fight. I'm from Georgia, Tbilisi, same country as Mirab. Uh, Saporia brothers originally as well. Yeah, same as the Crawford, not the most promotable, but he was a mean guy and nightmare to deal with. You know your boxing's that's cool. Learning. I mean, well, I was born in the year 2000. My husband likes to say I'm from the future. So to me, everything that happened, not even before 2000, I mean, till 2010, I mean, I was still a kid. Everything is a history, right? So I think it's just good for us. We're living in times we have materials available, even on YouTube. You can just watch a lot of that stuff. So it's all about researching it a little bit. And there are a lot of things I might not know, and I always encourage my audience to give me a new names. Like, for example, like my friend told me about Nicolini Locci, and it was like one of the greatest have head movements. For example, a lot of things you can learn from that one fighter. He wasn't even focusing too much on punching, but he would just destroy people mentally by dodging all of their punches with that brilliant head movement and timing. And then you have someone in the chat actually talked about Salvador Sanchez, who unfortunately passed away early in his life, but he was a prodigy. He was literally like it's so interesting to imagine where he would get. He was disciplined, he was charming, he was talented, great timing, great physicality, a great volume. And then you have Kalzag. It's so a lot of boxers. I was like, I didn't know myself, and but I learned about that, right? I don't think boxers are quite as good as late '90s, early 2000s. Maybe it's an age bias. Well, maybe styles changed. I think the both mixed martial arts and boxing somehow are more because the levels kind of come up. You have to be more careful. So maybe before it was with the skill and technique and timing, it would still be a war. A lot of fights would be you would be captivated with the volume of punches and all that kind of stuff. Like now, it almost seems more polished. I don't know if you do you agree with me? Oh, so you're 25. Yes, you draw those. That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, that's what you do. What are you studying now? I don't study. I actually don't have a university education. I have I'm certified coach. I took a national level certification, the course for the PT and all that kind of stuff. But uh, I really think that in Georgia, specifically, and maybe in a lot of places too, the education system is not the best. It's kind of I was in university for a little bit for a psychology degree, and I just quit. I was like, thank you, that's not for me. My family was like, oh, what you're doing? I was like, just trust me. And then straight away, I got the PT course. I started working as a trainer, and then I evolved and learned more. I've been doing that for 7 8 years, and last 5 years since COVID, I managed to do that online. So that's I guess that's the called thinking out of the box a little bit. I'm from Georgia, Tbilisi. Hello, guys. Okay, I'm done with my coffee. This is a guava juice, by the way. I got picture from the scripture you can draw. There are a lot of things I can draw. Even me, like I have so many references. I'm kind of there are also things that I want to create out of my what I have in my mind and put the references the way that like I kind of build that I want that reference general reference up because there's so many things I want to paint and draw, but it's gotta be filtered. You know what I mean? So Draw yourself. You're beautiful. Art, auto portrait. Maybe at some point. Have you or your husband ever been to Mexico? I never been for sure, but I'm not sure about my husband. He's been in the United States and California. At that point, he would work as the seasonally as a skydiving instructor. But I don't know if you've ever been to Mexico. What happened to my right knee? Oh, that's a bruise. Actually, I didn't notice it until you pointed it out. Um, Let me think. Yeah, I mean, and I don't do kicks or anything like that, so it's probably just bumped into something. Well, skydiving, oh, beautiful. Thank you. Well, he was base jumper actually, which is the probably one of the most extreme uh, versions of flying, and or he survived some crash, survived some hard times, coma, even a cancer that got identified while he was in coma. So that one crash that caused that coma, or the injuries where they had to put him in the artificially induced coma, it kind of saved his life too because he had encapsulated yeast um, yeast tumor. Yeah, it's like yeah, the gastrointestinal tumor, which was it wasn't spreading, but it was so big enough that it could just collapse anytime, and that's kind of miraculous that it never happened. Oh, a fellow artist, hello. Home gym physics says. Well, home gym physics because since you're training but also creating art, that's cool. If you have to do choose art or fighting, which would you choose? You may have been asked this question already. Well, it's hard to say because I already had an experience of choosing one or another, delving into one or another in different parts of my life, and it always leaves that hole, uh, devastation. When I focus only on fighting and training, yeah, it feels good. I can't live without that. But then there is something missing, and if I just create art and I don't train and I don't use the same vision in in my boxing, it feels also not complete. So I am struggling to respond to that question. I think I'm happy to be able to kind of gradually putting it all together and doing a little bit decent post. A wise man once said, love the art. Well, art is surrounding us. To me, at least this is how I look at it. Everything is a form of art. Boxing is just a form of art. It's the same. I have the same approach to boxing, same as a painting. When I see that end goal where I want to get, and I start kind of breaking down in my head the stages of it, the plan, how to get there. I do same with the boxing. It's just the difference is boxing is way more physical and related to some physical challenge and sometimes even pain. She's not a fighter, bro. She is an artist that trains. I like that. I like that. I don't mind. Um, if someone ever gonna ask me, "Oh, boxing, why are you doing that?" or like, "What does it mean? What do you want to achieve?" To me, I don't care about so-called championship as the itself as an end goal. To me, I'm here for the craft. Boxing is a craft. What's your national language? It's Georgian. Kartuli. I think Merab loses against Duyan. What do you think? Well, it really depends on the strategy. First of all, Merab needs to go easy on his weight cuts. Like the factor of losing weight, especially the way he does it. I think he wasn't. He used the UFC blueprint just once. Other than that, he does it in his old school way. I've seen guys doing that. It is detrimental, and especially doing that 4 times per year, not good. So first of all, that needs to, he just needs to take as much time as he needs to recover, rest. Another thing is in that period, they really need to sit and study Piotr Jan because Piotr Jan, that's what he did. He was studying Merab. He was studying, evolving his team, and they did a great job on that. They did a brilliant job on that. Kind of the same now. What that's what Merab has to do. Third thing is ugly or not, but for winning, yeah, Merab can work on striking, and work train with Tapurias to get better at it, but he needs to build up. He needs to have an striking as an addition to his wrestling. If he's up at optimal health and optimal shape, just he's using his relentless pressure. That's what brought him up there. So that might be not what people want to see, but for him to win, I see that as the oh, oh.
Hello.
So yeah, so basically, yeah, just listen. So yeah, basically, okay. So we have you're so talented, hardworking. Thank you. He lost all rounds, talked too much, then made excuses on heart injury when he claimed Jan would. He made all the adjustments and Merab could not adapt, and I don't think cardio alone wins as he got tired. Uh, I agree. I think Merab underestimated Piotr Jan, and Piotr Jan had all the time and all the IQ and thinking and team to actually really break up. Because I love Merab, but his style is not that complicated. We know that there is a pressure, there are certain elements, the way how he goes on takedown. Piotr Jan was ready for those takedowns, like a single leg grab. He was very good at defending those takedowns, right? So yeah, I agree with that. Um, well, he gave a praise to Piotr Jan on like at least he didn't start saying as an Umar, oh, I need to rewatch that fight. My hand got broke. Well, he said that Piotr Jan was a better person and better fighter that night. So there is no doubt. And what was that? There's something else I wanted to say. And the one of the reasons that Merab got tired is apart from body exhaustion, obviously, and I'm not saying it as an excuse. I'm saying that his own mistake. There is a reason why, especially champions fight once or maybe twice a year at the best, because cutting weight that much, doing those aggressive water cuts, also the way Merab was doing, he really kind of started thinking that oh, I'm a machine, but he's a human like everyone else. I think that was just mistake from his side, not using it as an excuse. Uh, but another reason is the wrestling cardio and boxing cardio are different. He started engaging. He wanted to do the striking good, and his volume of punches was good. Still, accuracy and timing was not on point, and Piotr Jan is way better at that. He would maybe throw less punches, but he identified exactly where was the openings. He landed them very powerful body shot, body kick, and well, his IQ won over Merab's. And that's the thing. Ask every wrestler who ever tried boxing. You need they all gonna tell you that despite them being very good at wrestling, for example, it's just a different pattern. Wrestling, you can pressure, you can hold, you have those. It's like a um, different timing and volume of the muscle contraction. In boxing and or striking, it's boom, 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 and that's what Merab wasn't waiting and doing like one and preserving that and counting on accuracy. He would just throw a lot of punches. By that was one of the reasons he got exhausted because to build up that type of endurance, like Who can I mention? Like Joe Calzaghe, for example, as a boxer, was known as one of the most. He would throw a lot of punches, but that was trained up for kind of years of training, and it's very also boxing specific thing. Well, in MMA, it doesn't work exactly that way. The accuracy and spending energy without the accuracy is going to exhaust you. So I think a lot of people didn't mention that, but again, wrestling cardio and striking cardio or endurance is different. I don't know if you agree with me, but yeah, I make my points. Okay. You like to change your natural drawing with defined lines. I feel Umar also beats Merab. He did later say broke as excuse. Umar won 2 rounds. Merab lost all five too young. Well, when it comes to Umar doesn't have 5 round endurance. He gets exhausted. Got exhausted with Bautista, and pretty much all his fights, I can see that he just gets exhausted by the end. So I don't know if he can. I don't think Umar can win because of that one factor against five championship rounds. Both, I think Piotr Jan dismantles Umar, and I think Merab, if he's at the optimal health with good endurance, he still manages to do that. Unless Umar really, really trains his endurance, if he increases his conditioning, which is quite a relatively faster process as a physical preparation than, for example, building muscle. Building muscle is longer process than building cardiovascular endurance. So I would suggest to Umar to just keep focusing on that because he has a skill. He has the pretty much everything. He has wrestling. He has skill. He's good at striking. He just needs that stamina and pressure. Someone like my dress from the previous live streams. I think he has worked on that now specifically. So cardio has improved. Yeah, as I said, I'm just saying the what I think as the factors. I don't. I always gonna cheer for Merab to win because he's my fellow Georgian and I want him to win. But here I'm just talking about the factors like pros and cons in my vision, how that looks. That that's what Caucasus guys are known for. Yes. Find pleasure in portraits, then just do it. Nothing more is needed. Did you ever consider fighting in your division? I mean, boxing, yes. In boxing, probably minimal weight or the flyweight. Anyways, okay. I'm um gonna message my husband because I need a couple materials that I forgot. Um, Send a message. Okay, send a message from Georgia. Can we see? And if you're an American veteran, I wouldn't try to fight an American veterans. You're killers. U.S. Army, even just in the standard protocol, I think is one of the higher requirements, like comparing to the world's other countries to the armies. So I have a big respect to the military also because of I've done some military training myself back in Georgia. It was voluntarily in the military style organization, but for civilians. But a lot of army, like I was in some studies, I was in some base. I, I shoot from RPG, and I mean some cool stuff actually. Did the simulation of the operation, like special operation, going at night in the snow with actually special forces guys leading that training, and a little bit of shooting competition, like in general, the rifle shooting competition. So it's hard, and we just did it in periods, right? So it's a hard lifestyle. Okay, so just I'm trying to remember where's my reference and give my husband a right instructions so he can find it. That's something interesting. Really, really interesting. I'm still figuring out the where I put the reference. I really cannot remember. Actually, let me just double check. No, don't have them. So that means I put them somewhere else. Well, guys, let's not talk about the warfare here in that sense. So I would appreciate if we don't indulge into it too much. Screen is glitching. Yeah, I can see, but I don't know why exactly. internet should be good. Wise men once said, "Don't need dojo or equipment to become the master. True mastery comes from within and forges gods through unbearable fires, sharpened through discipline built by silent shape suffering." Beautiful said. 25 years old. Here we go. Okay. Oh, thank you.
The reference thing.
Um,
Plug that in instead of that other.
what?
Plug that in instead of the other one because you're gonna need that for the other camera.
No. Okay. But reference is quite important. I cannot think without it. Yeah, in this case, the reference is very important since it's not just using it as an approximate. Like from this point, if that was just painting, I could just improvise and just play with it the way I want to. But in this case, I really need those references. So I'm thinking what to do now. Did I get the bruise on my head or my leg? I don't know. I just probably bumped into corner of the bed like I usually do. It's like there's one corner on the bed. Every time I pass it, almost I tend to bump my knee on it. Yeah, okay, but what can we do now here? I'm trying to remember where I put those references, and therefore I'm gonna try to think where it might be. So if I figure that out, I can just go get it myself. Mm, Well, you gotta give me a moment because I'm gonna try to look for it myself and come back in a second, okay? And here we go. I'm back. Oh man, I'm okay. Sometimes I tend to hide things in new places and I forget about them. Well, that's what happened right now. Here I am. Okay, now I can paint. Okay. Okay, what do we have here? So I'm gonna use smaller brush. A few brushes here that I'm gonna use this time. This one and the tiny one. I don't think I need at this point anything else for at least this part. And have the wipes, dry wipes, and the paints. Okay, let's look at it. What I'm thinking to do is I'm gonna do the same up there, just to kind of get it all together, and then I'm gonna start continue working on everything else. So basically, this section is gonna be like the head, the hair, beard, and part of the neck, ears, or ear is the one that I'm gonna work mostly. Kind of lip paint. So with the oils, if you let it rest enough, this one as well. It's gonna create a little like a layer, a dry layer. So in that case, you can just flip it up, and yeah, there is the dry paint, the wet paint inside of those layers. Let's clean this brush like this. Okay, here we go. There is very interesting because this part is and apply the whole new white paint, a layer of white paint here, so I can work upon it. See, I already create little strokes that replicate the hair direction here. Quite light over there, so it's a little bit some. One of the techniques is to again use the solid paint layer to create the basically create the apply the new wet layer so we can carve on it. So instead of just painting each hair right now, it makes more sense to just apply that white first, using the approximately the same strokes as it would be in the details. I'm not just blending it in, I'm using the strokes that shape the hair. Then I'm work on it to darken it up in the right places and all that kind of stuff. Also, it helps to fill up the gaps. Here we have way more of the. So he has a curly hair here. So we're gonna try to replicate it. Applying that. Well, this side is lighter, so here I can already mix with a little bit of black and create like a neutral gray too as well to be able to apply it with some of the parts. But since his hair is quite light, most of the parts still gonna be lighter. Here we're blending in using the same hair sculpts. Very good, cool painting. Thank you. Well, it's Paul Reed, an MMA fighter, pioneer MMA fighter. You can check him out on the in YouTube description. I have his Instagram info. Okay, let me check the main camera. How about now? Can you see it? Please let me know if there is any issues, if the microphone is working. If the microphone is working.
Man.
Everyone's stream is glitching like mine, or is it good? Well, is it good now? good. Something's wrong with the internet thing?
Yeah.
So I intend my paintings to be better than me.
Okay, now it's better.
That's better, huh?
Should be.
No, this is Paul Reed. He's an MMA fighter, pioneer. Check his details in the Instagram description. Touch. So now we're identifying approximate lights and darks here by using the small strokes. So that's gonna put the hair into the texture even better. It's quite a nice, satisfying process, by the way. Different shapes of the strokes because again, this hair, like the reference, is quite chaotic, and we want to essentially be able to put it in that way. Little curls. It's coming along together now quite well. Ever see you paint? You're good. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm just filling up the gaps now. I'm quite focused. So sorry, not really talking in the chat much. Thank you very much. So now we're carving this with black paint, defining the borders between the background and the figure. Now it already has shape. It's not done, obviously. It's gonna dry out, and I'm gonna work on the separate hairs later too. But for now, that's how it helps to shape it up. Try this side as well. Okay, it's actually not too bad. Okay, it's working.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Udo.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Nice work. Thank you. Real talented. Thank you. Hello. Привет. Привет. Можно? Да, конечно. No, this is Paul Reed. You can check his Instagram in the description of this live stream. Your painting is better than your singing. I agree. Hey, Shogun, hi. Beautiful detail in painting. Thank you. So the body work. I kind of worked a little bit on body now. Technical. I like this starting from the neck. That definitely creates more depth. Oh, I just realized. Well, yeah, I gotta be careful with that kind of stuff because now I messed up my shoulder a little bit, and that's not what I want to do. So yeah, we're gonna go over the beard even more because there are a lot of open gaps. But for now, I think I did this part quite well. And yeah, gradually getting there. So, okay, let me just take a break, guys, because wow, shoulder. Yeah, I think I'm done with the painting. I warned you it's gonna be quite detailized, maybe even a bit boring work. So you're not gonna see much progress until I really un- until it's really done. So we need to warm up a little bit. Yeah, it's easy to really hurt yourself just by sitting like in the one single position for hours. So beware, guys, when you paint, that can be create a little issue. Didn't realize that you didn't box, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, thank you, appreciate it. I'm gonna hide the reference. I'll chill for a little bit, okay? Yeah, I'll clean up a little bit later. Let me drink. That's the herbal mix that I have left from the coffee. So I'm gonna drink that. It's for hydration. Are you natural redhead? No, I'm not. Beautiful weather today, but really hurt my shoulder and shoulder joint. And I'm very careful usually with the joints. Never even much problems in the training, but I started noticing that when I paint, I'm so focused that I stay in one single position for a long time that really messes it up. So yeah, I don't want to get injured while painting. So yeah. Oh, guys, feel free to ask questions. I have a chat here so I can respond to your questions. Anyone who ever painted something for hours will understand my pain. To compete at all in boxing. I haven't competed in a long while, but I'm looking forward to do this year. Be careful. Well, it's good that the base layer is dry, so even if I just touch it by accident, it's all good. Stretching my neck. You look perfect like Viking. My husband is a Viking, so he says so am I then. I have my hand in a specific position because that helps to stretch my shoulder. So don't excuse me for weird faces. Georgian Viking, that's a new LOL. Well, my Slavic part might actually, just by extension, have some drops of the Viking blood. My mom and my mom's side, part of her family, is from the exact area where the the Rus dynasty Vikings just occupied the uh, Rus. They called it Rus after uh, the leader. So it's I think it was until the Knyaz Vladimir took over again, and he restored some paganism, the Slavic pagans, but then he burned down in a few years after taking Christianity. And I think it was around in the 7th century or a little bit later, maybe. Genetics are quite amazing, can be quite amazing. Yeah, that would be a shame to injure my shoulder just because standing in one weird position, spending hours in one that a single weird position while painting. One of the reasons why I have to pause and rest because I can do that for hours, but since I need to be careful with my body, let it rest. I haven't taken history in so long, but I remember that the Kiev and Rus and the Rus around modern day Georgia. Well, Russia is Russia, right? There, that was Kievskaya Rus first, and then that was Moscovia, so like the Moscow area. So Kiev and Moscow were separated. And now it's Kiev's Crimea area. Russia is obviously part of Russia, obviously Moscow area. So governance was always in the Kiev before, and then the Moscow was built and established, and that became a governing center. But before that, this where that Rus comes from. That comes from the Viking dynasty, who were just conquesting, and they're like, I think they were hired, as my husband says, they were hired as a military, and then they're like, we can take over. So they took over for a few centuries. It's very interesting. Might be some mix. between Slavs and Scandinavians at that point in the history, depending if they brought some more people and how much families were made in that period. Someone going to draw you. I don't know. Hello, hi guys. Well, I'm pretty much done for today. I did some. I worked on the hair, establishing borders, a little bit of neck area here. I'm gonna have to work more on the face, and I'm gonna stick around the face more. Other than that, it's going well. Oh, nice tattoo. Thank you. Stretching my right arm at the same time. I really hurt my joint right now, shoulder joint, because of immobility. I was like stuck in this one position. Didn't even notice, guys. Like now I start remembering how I would just paint for 8, 10 hours in the row. And when I snap out of it, it's like, oh man, that hurts. No, that's not my dad. That's Paul Reed. He's a pioneer MMA fighter known for starting career and professional MMA career in the mid 30s and finishing it when he was 50 with his victory. Um, Very interesting fighting and very inspirational for people who start training late and who start professional career late as well. You brighten all our days. Thank you. You brighten my days too. I mean, the YouTube and live streams actually help me with consistency, which I think is great. Is that tattoo permanent? Yes, it is. You rather have tattoos like made with henna or just stickers that are temporary, but any tattoo, anything that goes within the inside of the derma of the skin is permanent. Like someone says there's temporary. I asked that one of my tattoo master friends, and he said that's BS. So beware. If someone tells you, "Oh, that's just temporary," and they're making they're getting the needle ready, like unpacking it, and it's gonna go insert your skin. That's not temporary. They're LASIK procedures. You can obviously get rid of the tattoos, but that leaves not all tattoos, especially bigger ones, are easy to get out. You're too talkative. Yes, I am. I guess sometimes I explain too much. Some people say, some people like it, some people don't. So it's up to you. Curtis M says she shouldn't talk on her own stream. How much have you had to do? Well, exactly. Some people want me to talk and explain things, respond to questions. Some people don't. You cannot make everyone happy. You're amazing and you paint very well too. Thank you. I'm excited to do so because this is like I'm intending from now on. I'm intending to keep creating art in my own pace. There might be some, you know, I might take some pauses here and there, but I'm intending to do that more often. And you guys help me. You got to use whatever tools you have for the positive outcome. So YouTube and your engagement is an attention, right? It helps to grow channel. It triggers my rewarding um, mechanism in my brain that brings satisfaction. But at the same time, I use that to paint more or train more, and show things. Maybe sometimes I do things while explaining. I kind of figure out new things for myself as well. So we do help each other, I guess. I mean, Garth, thank you. I'm used to seeing you train and talk. This is cool too. Thank you. Yeah, I love to do both. Your English is fantastic, probably fantastic, very nice. I had to learn it. 2020 during the pandemic, that's when I really um, delved into it. Hello to Joseph says hello to everyone in the chat. Yeah, your English is fantastic. Okay. Um, it's my third language after Georgian and Russian. All of the three I speak fluently. One day, looking forward to learn. Try to learn a little bit of Vietnamese, except a few words that I already know. Difficult language. And my husband is from Norway, so definitely want to learn some Norwegian. Okay, but now something is a little bit of rain. It's such a small, tiny drops. They're inserting the roof, but that's okay. That's not the danger for the painting. I mean, in the worst case, I will just have to move the painting inside. You're weak. Of course, I'm weak. I'm a girl, and I prefer most of people think that I am weaker than I possibly am. So you started learning English at like 20ish. Wow, I bet that was difficult. Well, comparing to Georgian and Russian, even though I just know those languages since I was a kid, when I started learning English, it made more sense. You know what I mean? There are no genders of the words, for example. Yeah, there are some difficulties in English, but the biggest difficulty of English language is vocabulary. It's very big vocabulary, and it's impossible to know all the words in English. However, the structure of the English language, I think, is the most. Um, it makes sense, you know. It's nothing difficult about it. And once I started, in the beginning, it was challenging, but my goal was just to learn as many advanced words as possible. I would use personalized approach, let's call it that way. I would use uh, fitness and science training related articles for translation and vocabulary. Obviously, I would have a notebook. I would write down all the new words and phrases. For listening, I liked to, like, for the casual listening exercise, I would love to watch vlog videos, traveling vlog videos. That would really excite me at that point, especially in the pandemic when I never really traveled much outside. And I'm like imagining that once I learn English and I can go on travel different places and pretty much speak English in a lot of those places. So that helped as well. So yeah, it's same blueprint in a language. You need to understand structure, so a little bit of grammar just to understand the structure, and then you have words, vocabulary, um, sentence building, writing, reading, listening, and speaking essentially, right? So it's like a blueprint for all languages. It's just about to start. And in the beginning, every language is hard. It doesn't make sense whatsoever in the beginning, but if you commit, it really makes difference. Go further. Beautiful art. Thank you. Is your husband fighter like you? I think I stretch my shoulder. It's better. Is your husband a fighter like you? He used to be a base jumper, skydiver, proximity wingsuit, flying, all that kind of stuff. Super dangerous, extreme sport. That was before we met. crushed. Then that caused coma. Then during the coma, they found out he had the gastrointestinal tumor in his stomach area, soft tissues. That kind of saved his life because he woke up and when he was advised to gain weight as soon as possible, so they could operate on him. And then recovery period. So we met during recovery period. That all of that was in Bulgaria. Crash happened in Brazil, but he was based in Bulgaria, so he was back in Bulgaria at that time. And after he was the surgery was successful, started recovering gradually, rebuilding himself. He moved to Georgia to start certain things over, and that's when we met. Around more than 3 years ago now. But he's training with me right now, so I train him boxing specifically. He also practices some elements of kickboxing or Muay Thai, like the low kicks and that kind of stuff, quite well. Yeah, but we train together very often. Interesting story. That's for sharing. He sounds like a resilient man. Well, uh, the man, you're correct. And when we met first time, that's what I thought. That was the first thought in my head. He was not as healthy as he is now. He was in a fight and flight. He was even a little bit in an aggressive state because, well, understandably, still, even if you after you survive something, your body, your brain is still in a fight and flight response, and that shows in many ways. But that's the first thing, like in immediate respect because of that. You have different respect towards people who are resilient, especially towards men who are resilient, and that resilience, people men who've been soldiers in a war, or they've been, um, you know, in the rescuing operations, firefighters, athletes, uh, extreme sports folks, those kind of guys. They have something. They have that build up. They've been through stuff, or just generally, some folks have been, coming from the hard, difficult background, and the men that rebuilt themselves. So that the resilience, that was the first thing that came to my mind, and then immediate respect, and then it just kept going. God bless you. Thank you. God bless you too, guys. Thank you, Nathan. Thanks for sharing, Emmy. Uh, Welcome. I mean, I might rant sometimes. Sorry for that, but I really do try to respond to most of the questions. I'm married. I'm talking about my husband. I'm surprised he's not coming up. I think maybe he's already working on the website that we're preparing within the days to launch. That we're gonna have some prints, made the logo, so it's gonna be some prints on sportswear, some items, and my art as well. So the first blood painting gonna be available. The print's gonna be available, limited edition, by the way, for the sale. So he works a lot on that background stuff. He's the backbone of this channel, and he's the biggest support to me. Do you have anything to say about MN? MN? You gotta clarify what does mean. How long have you been painting for? Generally, since I was 2 years old, I just grabbed the pencil according to my parents, and just one day when I was around two, grabbed the pencil, I started doodling, and since then I've been sketching, drawing. Then they put me in the art school to give me some academical skill. Then I became very good. Again, no arrogance about it, but comparing to singing and boxing, those things I really had to work and practice more. With painting, it probably was the most natural process for me. So it's been now, I'm 25, so it's 23 years total. I mean, I've been doing that. And I had off periods too, like sometimes I would not paint or even draw for half a year or year, but every time I would get back to it, I would just, that doesn't disappear. That talent doesn't disappear. And for the skill, with my maturity level, like for example, I wouldn't paint. I hadn't painted oil paints and bigger canvas for a very long time. I would only do charcoal, pencil, like bigger portraits, and on the paper only. But now my skill level and the depth that I put in is way higher level than I was, let's say, 15 when I would still where when I would paint more often. Why? I think it is related to maturity, patience, vision, more like a precise approach, all that kind of stuff. So it's been a journey now. Promo for the Peter Jan's lab. Would you do a Fyodor Yemelenko painting? Possibly. Well, that's the thing. I want, like, I'm painting Paul Reed not only because he's inspiring to me, but also because I want to. I already talked to him. That's going to be sent to Bristol, where he's based. So it's going to be a gift, and that's very rewarding because you can have that piece and building the relationship a little bit and showing appreciation. So as much as I want to make some portraits of the UFC fighters and boxers, that's not the only thing I want to do. There are a lot of things like this that is more mythology, more of the my creation, not just copy pasting or putting someone on the camera, but creating my own dynamic portraits. So I'm gonna try to find balance between this. Like this one, first blood is I used the reference from Pinterest, but I use it more as a freehand. I still put it in my own character. Uh, the eyes are different. So I just did it in my own way and more, just using reference is the little blueprint, not more, nothing more than that. This one is way more accurate, precise. It basically has to be as similar to the looking to Paul Reed as he's in the reality. The next one I'm thinking to do again something that is not even an actual reference. I don't want just to take a reference and paint it and said, oh yeah, that's it. I want to build up my own reference. I have a few ideas in my head, uh, circling around. So it's gonna be a man. It's gonna be the heavy accent is gonna be on hands. There's gonna be eyes and the face covered like a military style. Maybe even off the mission, a man who is trying to track something or someone and has like something in the hands, like from the ground, and that's the pose that's what I want to put. That's one of the ideas. But a lot of my paintings, most of them probably going to be resilience, like a quite strong presence, like neither whether it's a man or woman painting. That's going to be the vibe. Yeah, I'm not American. Could you draw dynamic art like a manga or comic at this photorealistic quality? I guess I can. I've been sketching and drawing a lot of anime. Like I would love to watch anime. I would make my little stories and comics. Was like my little instead of having just a diary and writing about some things. I would that was my diary. I would take some known animes. I would reshape them. I would do like a crossovers. That kind of stuff. Scarlett Johansson, what's up? Oh, good. Is it chargeable? Yes, there is a charge nearby. Have you done self portrait? Just a sketch. I've done it long ago. Do you do request on how much you charge? Do you need commission? It's possible. You can email me, but it doesn't mean I take all the requests. As I said, I don't. I have a specific time for paint, and I already work on this one. There is next one. Ideally, I would try to sell the prints and the original canvas, auction them, once I'm done it and showing the process in the live stream. So the actual ones that I create going to be available. But there are certain commissions I would take. I would take black and white dynamic portraits of some interesting characters. There was someone saying to do this like same style with Charles Bronson. I think I would take that one. Price is negotiable because there is it needs I need to calculate the average price for the size and just make it reasonable, but also that it would be worth for me, right? So if there is any ideas or questions regarding the commission or request, you can email me on my contact email, which is attached to the YouTube link, YouTube bio. The accent is generic something, but English is my third language and I'm self-taught. I try to be make it as neutral as possible, probably like American, but I guess I have some Eastern European um, effect of it. Yeah, I'm Georgian. Someone's please tell me. Oh, hello. Weed is legal in Georgia. Not anymore. Our government it was decriminalized, but they sneaked out its own. Like they even stopped my father just on his son like day off. They're like, oh well, we want to test you. So they do that to people, and he refused because before he could refuse, and he know they would call him, but instead of calling him from like police and just asking him, okay, come over again, they just straight away they actually called me from the court and said, okay, there is a court process for your father for refusing to go on the test. I was like, okay. And that is automatically a fine. They gave him a minimal fine, but if he does that second time, if he refuses second time, that's going to be a criminal case, even just for refusal. So, and that's what they do to people. I think it was decriminalized since 2018. You could even grow a little plant or possess it, and now it's. I think they legalized it in July. We had no idea. Like I haven't seen news, nothing like that. Maybe they did something, but again, it was not really like spread off. So I think that was the move to, there's political situation going on. People protest against russification and de-dollarization of country and kind of basically moving more towards Russia's influence. A lot of people, including me, disagree with that completely. And I think that was their move to kind of target a big mass of people. Just wondering. Oh, I have like have some sort of I don't know what's like just a stain on my top. Let me see how much of the charge I have. Well, I gotta try to connect it. Because my phone is dying. Because all of my devices are pretty much dying, but I'm just gonna try to. Okay, well, that's not too bad. Hey, let's let's do like a few more minutes, guys. You can ask for more questions. Surprise, surprise. I'm up. The king is back. Welcome to the chat. I hope you can hear me. Mic is pretty much useless right now. You're in Baltimore. No, I'm in Vietnam, not Trang. Yeah, my shoulder doesn't hurt anymore. But guys, gotta be careful with joints. And the problem is whether you move like in the wrong way, or especially repetitively, or you stay in the wrong position repetitively. All of that can hurt your joints, and you don't want to get any inflammation and that kind of stuff. How will Usman do in UFC? Oh, Usman, speaking of the joint injuries, I think both of his hip or knee joints are not doing very well, and that's kind of like a cost for the sport over time. A lot of fighters suffer from the joint injuries, especially in their hips, especially the wrestlers. And man, I don't know. I think Islam wins against Usman. Um, but yeah, there are other interesting. Like to me, uh, Michael Morales is the most interesting thing. Yes, I think he's going to give the hardest time to Islam, even possibly win. I would honestly bet on Morales for factors of reasons. Ian Gary, but the way he fought Belal, I actually after that one, unless he changes his game plan, I don't think he really has chances against Islam, honestly. But yeah, it's when it comes to Usman versus Islam, I think Islam that one Islam got safely. Usman has no knees. Mm. Good morning. I'm doing well. I'm done painting on working on that paint and a funny thing like every now and then the bugs are getting stuck on the paint, so I need to stick them off. You painted those? Yes, I did. Well, I'm still painting this one. It's still in the process. Are you married? Yes, I am. Marab needs to bring belt back to Georgia. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Always gonna cheer for Marab till the end. But there are important factors to it. He needs to rest well. He needs to do something else with the way he cuts the weight. He needs to push on his cardio and the wrestling specifically, because wrestling and striking cardio is two different patterns. And unless you really train both of them very, very well, just because you have a good wrestling endurance, stamina, doesn't directly transfer to the striking, and vice versa, of course, right? So, but I do believe he has a team of professionals, so I assume they're gonna study Piotr Jan specifically, and be more strategic about it instead of just putting the show and just go. Um, Overestimating certain abilities. And other than that, I think there is a high chances. I think Merab is not done. He's a warrior at heart. He really, even when he struggles, or even when he puts himself under relentless pressure and weight cuts and stuff, is like, I think his personality is radiating when it comes to the pressure, resilience, and I think he has high chances to come back. So far, do you have any regrets in your life that you would like to share? No, there are a few things that I figured out earlier in my life, and one of the things was I want to make things the way that I don't regret them. But it's impossible to just have everything perfect, right? Sometimes you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna do, you know, there's gonna be downfalls. But my attitude would be, okay, I make a mistake. Let's say I made a mistake. I did something wrong. I have to deal with consequences. But let me do it once, and okay, I did it. This is something new. Let's learn. Let's learn from it. Let's make sure that I get the most of it, as a lesson, and that helps my growth. And I don't do it again. Simply, I can. It's okay to make a new mistake and approach it the same way. So, one of the reasons why I don't really regret pretty much anything in my life is because of that attitude. I haven't ruined significant relationships because I would make a mistake, think about the root of it. I would communicate, including my relationship, for example, and learn and try to put it into practice. So yeah, that's kind of what is my attitude. I That's why I don't regret things. Just naturally, just I don't have anything to regret. Would I change things? No. I mean, things quite in exciting, interesting way already in my life, and you know maybe somewhere in the multiverse there's alternative realities, how alternative scenarios, but I'm absolutely accepting and happy with the way I'm living my life. Say hi to Mike and Asbe. Mike, hi. Asbe, hi. Waving. Her husband listening from the next room, like, oh, hell, no, she lied. Uh, he can respond it himself. I think if he's right now in the chat, because I think he might also be working on the website that we're preparing. So the online shop. Have a great day, beautiful sister from Georgia. God bless you and your family. Thank you. Appreciate it. God bless you too. Okay, yeah, no, it's fine. Range of motion is back. Well, let's keep it for a few more minutes. Feel free to ask more questions before I wrap this live stream. Uh, Mike is not my husband, Daryl. So my husband is Chris, and as I said, I don't see him in the chat right now. He was before. It's Chris Aiden. He's also a moderator, so you will see his name is showing in blue. And well, my husband is a very strong and confident man. He's very unique in his own right. He survived things that a lot of people don't survive. He was in extreme sports, base jumping, literal jumping from the mountains. He was pursuing quite an extreme lifestyle before we met and before his crash and cancer that was discovered, the encapsulated, but still, and all that kind of stuff. He survived all of it. Then we met very soon after that period, and yeah, since we've been inseparable from certain point. We've just been inseparable, and he's not just my husband in that sense, like he's my best friend, he's my partner, he's my family. When you leave, and we're both coming a little bit from dysfunctional dynamics. I mean, we love our families, and we made peace, and we have good relationships with everyone now. But we're both coming from the background where, in a daily life, for example, if I would ask something, oh, bring me this, I would be like, oh, go get it yourself. And I would do the same. That was the environment I would live in. Well, with him, we don't scream each other, we don't yell each other, we help each other, we ask for things politely in a nice way. We joke, we have we're very close, maybe even closer than a lot of people. I'm not gonna even talk about details, but we're close, and we at this point we're kind of struggling. I mean, we like having around each other around. So if I do karaoke, I host there. I come back, I'm like always like, finally. And now we were lately watching Star Trek together, and it's just the best evenings to have. It's completely safety, complete safe space, feels like home. And I never had that. He never had that. Um, but we have it now. So yeah, he has many reasons to be confident. Even more, if not him, if not his strong word, literally telling me that you're going, getting up right now and you opening that YouTube channel, and then second time it was you were getting up right now and you're live streaming right now, because those two things I would never do it myself. I wasn't confident. I thought like, who cares? A lot of insecurities when it comes to that. So he's also my like he's like a manager. He's a great manager. Like I have two talents. He's the manager. He knows. He sees certain things, and he sees a lot of things ahead. And he believed in me before I would believe in myself. So basically, me getting back to boxing and training now, and possibly getting good at the do pro fights and get good at it. Me painting now, live streaming, creating this YouTube was all his initiative. Okay, Chris is here. So Aiden Chris is my husband. He's here. It's good. She's a keeper. Uh, what's like to have your own child maiden? Well, you gotta ask me what's like to have a real Viking. He's Norwegian. And um, I always was getting the original mythology Thor vibes, like his personality, because he would be very extreme and certain, like he would jump from the mountains, literally conquer, and he would not care. He was like, if I die, it's not my problem anymore, and it was close to that death. But then universe had more purpose for him, and no, you're not dying now. You actually there's new stage of your life starting, and so yeah, he's a spectacular man. But apart from that, it's also what we created together in those now more than 3 years. That is also quite great. You seem to be too. Oh yeah, he's a painter. Yes, that's one of the things I do. How did you get over battling each other when talking and asking each other for things? I guess it's about stop competing. A lot of times, and that comes from different reasons, but a lot of times men and women compete, and in a relationship they do that, and sometimes they actually stick together for years and they still keep doing that. It can go both ways. Some men don't like women to be better than them in some things. A lot of women, because of that now, because they feel they're oppressed and now they need to fight everyone, and that well, you're gonna fight the most someone that is 24/7 with you, right? So I think it comes from the competition. But let me tell you, we don't compete. We just create the unity and we help each other. We have our roles, our duties, our things that we're good at, and we help each other to just be able to do that. Like he creates certain security, and that he has that. He's like a captain of the ship. He sees that end goal very clearly. And when I start seeing it, well, I'm an executioner. Like I paint, I create art, I I coach, I train, I box. There's a lot of things. I'm more like a very good at executing certain things. Also keeping him, safe and calm, and he does the same to me as well. So we just created in unity. It's absolute teamwork. I want him to be leader. He's a great leader. We both have leader qualities. We both can, and that helps because if one of us is a little bit off, um, other can help and give that energy and take that lead. But the thing is, he's a man, and I absolutely want him to do what he's doing the best, like lead our little ship. When we have kids, that's gonna be, we're all gonna be led by him because he strives in it. He does great. He grows in it as a man, as the person, and I like to follow. I trust him implicitly when it comes to those things. And at the same time, I'm always ready. If he needs to rest, if he needs to get off a little bit, because we all are humans, I'm ready. I'm ready to step in, help. So, yeah, no competition. Sorry for ranting, but it's quite an such a philosophical topic. Now we need to send the Chris a gift. Such a class, very classy. You're a wonderful artist, but the one who created you is also a great artist. You're good. Well, universe or God, whatever you like it, the universal artist. Or my parents a little bit too genetics worked. Uh, yeah, Chris says we make a good team. Fundamentals are in the sync and the lead very chilled. We never argue and it's kind of perfect. Again, it comes stop competing, start trusting each other, start cherishing each other, feel safe around each other, but also work keep your ego in check. We all have egos, okay? That is kind of passed to wisdom as well. It's relationships. If you both do that in a relationship, that actually you both grow more wise. You become wiser. But it is also an individual journey when it comes to keeping your ego in check. Don't get offended. Like before, as a woman, I would get maybe more triggered by things. I don't think I was ever too conflicting. I never would like I would not indulge into conflict, but there were definitely things that would trigger me a lot. Well, now some of our languages might sound very weird to people. Like we call each other. He calls me smelly fatso shit, and like that sounds maybe like, oh, what is this? If I call my, but that's the thing. To me, that's love language, and we smile and we laugh when you do that, and I do the same. I call him like a big smelly shit, and like like we have very weird love language, but it also came from the point that like I don't need to call him. Oh, call me honey, like everyone else is called. Like, you see how he treat? Like, no, I don't. I don't care. I'm the it's the way we are. It's so real. It's so authentic, and it's a good exercise. Like I realized I don't care. I really get offended, and when you don't get offended by a person you love and you trust completely, you kind of become untouchable in that sense that no one else can hurt you really. Like people tell me sometimes they say things called me sometimes. It's like, okay, whatever, it's fine, you know. So that kind of relationship helps you to grow on your individual level as well. I'm very much looking forward to finding my soulmate and to conquer life together. Well, Chris can give you a couple advices on that. The base criteria. I wasn't perfect whatsoever, so a lot of you see now is our mutual growth that we made and the progress that we made throughout the relationship by the choice. Um, but there were some core qualities that Chris can tell you about if he's still in the chat. Or doesn't seem to be right now, but he might be. So basically, I'll tell you one of the story. He told me that basically later in our relationship, one of the criteria, like he really researched and learned a lot, like statistics and psychology behind women. And for some people, might sound very generalized and misogynistic, but we all have the biological foundation and the pattern structural foundation as well. So, for example, the traumas, the mental issues, it's not like everyone has individual. Yes, everyone has individual story, but why are they so similar, right? A lot of things. That's why we have the diagnosis of certain groups to identify certain issues, right? So here is the thing. He told me the story, and I think he did that on the first date actually. He asked me about if I have siblings. When I told him that, well, my parents are divorced, I'm the oldest child and only sister, so I'm kind of like, I'm doing boxing and I want to be tough. I was a little bit too masculine at that point, but my main urge was to take care of everyone, help everyone, kind of take that leading role to make sure everything's taken care of, including financially. And he told me that, well, in the Victoria Cross holders, 70% of Victoria, that's one of the highest medals of honor, are people, they're men, only men, but that pattern goes for both men and women, generically speaking. So the pattern is 70% of those people, of those men, are, and mostly an oldest sibling in the family, or a sibling who took an oldest sibling role, parental role, in a dysfunctional family where the father figure is absent or weak or abusive. My father wasn't very like abusive, but he wasn't really there. Like I know him. I knew him since my childhood. I have a great relationship with him now, but he wasn't a strong male figure. He wasn't that father who creates the security or like makes the everyone feel safe, right? So I was like, wow, okay, maybe that comes from that. And we talked a little bit there, here and there. That was one of the base qualities because despite my triggers and my insecurities, and I wasn't perfect, nowhere near to perfect. But that one quality determined a lot of things because when I started trusting him, and we both grew into that, and we would talk through some conflicts, and we didn't really have many of the same fights. We don't go over just for fighting. We both realize we don't like fighting, so let's at least just learn how not to fight. And if there is something that we need to talk through, let's learn how to do it, not like we would do in the family, right? We would in our families where it's like yelling and screaming and fighting. And but then when I started trusting him, main thing, I started like I wanted, and I still want to care. So I always care. I wake up. There's never a problem with me. Like, oh, I want to do my thing. Yes, I have my little routine, and I'm a little bit OCD on some things. But I want to, I wake up with him with the kisses, and so does he sometimes when he wakes up earlier. And always caring. Always, I want to do things. I want to do things for him, and I feel safe because I don't have this, like, my mother would tell me that, oh, like if you do too much for him, he's gonna relax too much, and he's not gonna do things for you. It doesn't work that way in our case because the more I want to care for him and also by extension care for other people, I became way more nurturing to everyone, including you guys. That's why I like to explain and teach and say things that are possible, inspire, because I care. I really do care for people, and I believe everyone has potential. So I really delved into it, and I get the same from him. The more I care, the more he cares for me. Like, so we have a very natural, non-forced dynamic in that, and that's quite beautiful. Hello, Picasso. Hi, hi. Give thanks to growth. Yes, cheers to that. Vice versa, give and take. So yeah, it's basically working through triggers. It's very important because if you have that structure that, oh, I do, like I hear a lot of, at least Western women saying that, maybe some non-Western, the idea, I'm not his mother. I had that before too, and I'll tell you why. Well, because my father wouldn't step in the role, but he wanted to everyone, every woman in the family, including his mother and my mom, to only give to him, take care of him, but he wouldn't do anything. So I would see that, well, yeah, that doesn't work, because they do, they give, and then the dynamic would worsen because, like, relationship, the women will feel that they don't get anything. Well, my grandma is his mother, so it's a little bit different. But my mom, it's one of the reasons why they divorced. Fortunately, and that's my father also didn't have father growing up around him. That's very important. He was raised by my grandma. My grandma used to be very powerful woman. And instead of putting him into go to sports, go to this, go to work earlier in your life, so he would learn things and maybe find some male role models. She never did that. It's like somehow some women emasculate their men, their sons. So you see how it's like a generational curse or pattern of the worst women, just kind of doing whatever they want and passing it on their children. Well, he's doing way better now. He actually has a job now, and that's one of the reasons he changed a little bit, and our relationships are also better. So yeah, I grew up in dynamic that, yeah, I mean, you kind of need to keep check. You need to be, don't become his mom because they're gonna take an advantage of you. That's kind of what I saw, and that's not only my father's example. A lot of male example in Georgia. But with Chris, it's not that. I completely outgrew that. I completely overcame that issue, that those triggers, because with my relationship, with our relationship, we just we just do both care. We cherish each other. We care for each other, and it just happens naturally. I don't need to get triggered and think, oh, okay, I did most of it for him. Now he needs to do it with me. We don't really have that competition. Is that Gordon Ryan? No, it's Paul Reed. It's an MMA fighter. Absolutely right. I give my life to my children and my wife, and they love me for it. If a man has selfishness in them, nothing works. That kind of brings us back. A man has to become a leader. So, boys, young men, become that leader. You're gonna strive. It's not about you just doing things. Yes, you have the hard life when it comes to you might need to go out, take more physical jobs, more stress upon you, but become that leader because you're gonna strive from your energy, but you're also gonna attract a good uh, woman, a wife, a partner material, and therefore your children gonna see your dynamic, your unity. I don't believe as much as you as a man needs to be a leader to everything to be in order. Also, I believe a woman has to be a strong, a best support. Like I cannot imagine my husband just doing things, and if things fall apart, I'm like, oh, that doesn't work for me anymore. You know what I mean? That's not right. That means that person is not. Sometimes that happens because man does everything, and he thinks that's his duty, but a woman is like, oh, if something is not in order or something, there is some downfall, she starts retreating. That's not a good dynamic. That's not right attitude. So yeah, you need the both men and women. We need the right partner, but we need to grow to that point as well. So Jamie, that's very good for you, and I'm glad that's exactly the point. They love you for it, but that's the key point as well. What if you're sick or something, some downfall? God forbid, but what if something? Well, this is where your wife also gets tested because if she's around, then children's gonna be around, and this is where you're gonna feel that you actually have support, and then outside world stress becomes almost insignificant when you have such a mutual support system where you support each other in the right ways. It truly becomes a very strong unity. Vicious cycle from a Caribbean household, I can vouch for these behaviors. I mean, that's universal. Carl Jung was saying about that. We have the collective unconscious, and that makes sense. Culture from culture, like that, those cultures can be separated by miles and thousands of miles, never been interacted like directly, but there are certain patterns that is very similar to all of us. Her husband's country are friendly people. Norwegian. Well, he's not classic Norwegian. I think Norwegian are way more calm and like he's done crazy stuff. He's quite a tempered man. He's also a good man. So he also knows how to manage his temper. He knows where to direct it and all that kind of stuff. But I think he's not a classic Norwegian. I think he's more of his ancestors type, like a berserker type of Norwegian, like would go and conquer and fight and just have that way. He really lived most of his life that way. Thank you for this talk. I'm enjoying it myself. Again, I reaffirm certain things for myself, and when I say sometimes say something, I'm like, yeah, that's it. So it's a good reminder for myself as well. But guys, I'm very thank you very much. I gotta wrap it up. I really appreciate you. The painting is going, and the process is going well, gradually getting there. And Ed Sheeran, Pras Golden Ryan, Paul Reed. Oh yeah, very interesting looking man. Paul Reed is, that's for sure. Anyways, I gotta wrap it up now, but I'm gonna see you soon in the next live stream. Have a good day and good night, depending where you're from, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.